All right, so this has got to be one of the wildest interactions in the ongoing crashout that's taking place at ZOS. Basically, this poster on the forums brought up 20 different people who've been banned recently from the Elder Scrolls Online without getting any explanation. According to this poster, these are guild leaders, community-oriented players, and even a woman who just had a baby. And then in response, Jessica Folsom, the community manager at ZOS, basically said they're all liars who've been engaged in fraud and closed the discussion. Absolutely wild. Hey everyone, it's Spopes. So yeah, this is a crazy situation. I'm going to go through the whole forum post here, all the replies, then give my analysis at the end. This is one of the most interesting things that's happened in the ESO community recently. I think it's worth our attention. So we're going to start with the original post here. This comes from Nina Sweetie, and the post is titled A Request to Reconsider the Situation. And here's the post. I am the leader of a trading guild and a member of a large ESO community. Over the past month, I've witnessed a situation that has become a serious concern, not only for me, but for many other players as well. Throughout June, players from different guilds and communities, including people I know personally, began reporting their accounts have been permanently banned without any explanation. None of them received an email stating the reason for the ban. After contacting customer support, they all received nearly identical template replies listing every possible violation: fraud, exploitation, cheating, black market activity, without specifying which rule they'd allegedly broken. Any further appeals either resulted in the same automated responses or were simply ignored. So this is the first part I find to be kind of wild. Usually when you're banned in ESO, not that I know from personal experience or anything, but yeah, usually they tell you why. If it's a chat message, they link that message. If it's some particular activity you did, they tell you what it is. In this case, there was apparently no explanation, which is the first red flag, but let's move on. The original poster goes on to say, at first, I assumed these were isolated incidents. However, after speaking with more people, I discovered the same thing had happened across multiple guilds and communities. By the end of the month, I'd personally identified more than 20 players, and that's only from my social circle, who found themselves in exactly the same situation. I'm writing this post primarily on behalf of people I know personally or have played with for years. So the first person was the deputy guild leader of this poster's guild, and the raid leader of the guild. She says, I know him personally and I'm willing to vouch that he would never knowingly violate the game's rules. The next one is someone who owns 2 accounts, leading the poster to speculate that transferring materials between the accounts could have caused the ban. And this is the really crazy part. This is a leader of another guild. It's a friend of the original poster who had a baby 6 months ago and hasn't played really since, only logging in occasionally. Despite that, her account was permanently banned. This will be important to remember later. There's another guild leader with 2 accounts, both of which were banned at the same time. This person was apparently a very positive community leader, organizing tournaments and community events. And this person was apparently questioned by the ZeniMax safety team, providing additional confidential account-specific information, but his account is still deactivated 4 months later. Then the poster goes on to say, my concern extends far beyond the fate of my friends and acquaintances. Today it happened to them. Tomorrow it could happen to me or any other longtime member of the community. Behind every character name is a real person. Right now, many of these people have lost faith in the appeals process. They are disappointed and feel betrayed. What actually caused these bans? Are players not allowed to have 2 accounts? Are they not allowed to play from an internet cafe or gaming center? Neither of those things are true. You absolutely can have 2 accounts, and you can play from wherever you want, even prison ostensibly, so no. The poster then says, I'm not asking ZeniMax to stop enforcing the rules, or to go easy on players who generally break them. Fair enforcement is essential to keeping ESO healthy. However, it is just as important that legitimate players receive a clear explanation of what they're accused of. Without knowing what specific action supposedly violated the rules, they have no meaningful opportunity to defend themselves during the appeals process. At the same time, every forum thread discussing bans is closed with the standard response. Discussion of disciplinary actions is not permitted. Please contact customer support. But if customer support only provides generic template responses with no specific information, players are left trapped in a dead end with no real way to appeal. More than a month has now passed, and none of these players had received either a meaningful review or a specific explanation of their permanent ban. It is understandable that, from a company's perspective, an account may simply be another entry in a database, but to the community, these people are far more than that. They are guild leaders, raid leaders, mentors, event organizers, the people who invite new players, teach them the game, help them with crafting, organize community activities, and keep entire guilds alive. Many of them have built communities of dozens or even hundreds of players. They are veteran players with up to 3600 CP and dozens of characters. This represents years of dedication. During those years, directors, managers, and support staff came and went, but these players remained and continued to support the game even after subclasses were introduced. Moreover, it was these players who have been financially supporting the project for years. It's interesting to use the word project. I wonder if that's a tongue-in-cheek for Project Blackbird, because that's really what ESO served as for the last 8 years or whatever, before it was canceled, as just a piggy bank for Blackbird. These people spent thousands of dollars supporting the game. After investing so much time, money, and passion into their accounts, it is difficult to believe the majority of these players would knowingly risk losing everything by intentionally breaking the rules. Losing players like this damages the community far more than it may appear from the outside. Every online game survives because of players who dedicate years of their time, money, and passion to it. When a longtime player can lose everything without a clear explanation and without a fair opportunity to defend themselves, it raises serious concerns. Ultimately, this is about trust between the developers and the community. And the poster finishes up by saying, "I sincerely ask that you please forward these cases to someone who understands the value of long-term players and can perform a genuine case-by-case review instead of another routine template-based investigation. If these bans were caused by a system error, it's not like AI runs the ban process or anything. No, of course not. Or a misunderstanding of legitimate player activity, please restore the affected accounts. If a violation did occur but was not malicious or intentional, please consider issuing a warning or a less severe penalty instead of permanently banning accounts that have existed for many years. I hope these cases can receive the careful individual review they deserve, not only for the players involved, but for the trust between ZeniMax and the ESO community." And then they use their own words against them here. "As our new game director said," this is a literal quote from Nick Giacomini, "I've said it before, but I'll say it again. ESO is nothing without you, our community. Thank you for your continued dedication, your feedback, and your support." All right, now you guys tell me, this is going to be important later on. Does this post read like it was written by some crack-headed criminal defending some kind of big criminal ring or something? I mean, it's all hearsay on both sides, but I really don't get that impression. This is well written. They use the word specific a little bit too many times, but it's detailed, well thought out. Sounds like it was written by someone with a college degree and a salaried position. Again, you guys give me your impression, but when we get to the end here, you'll understand why I asked. But before we get to Jessica's top tier crash out response, let's check out some of the responses from other players here. So from Shady Jane 62, "This is what frightens me most about the future of ESO. Reading this, I went and canceled my sub again. A few months ago, I said something rude in chat to a character who'd been harassing me for a year, repeatedly pelting me with mud balls when after another so fast, I could do nothing but leave Rimmon." And this is just tragic, man. "Someone reported me and I got a warning, which then prevented me from gifting. Last Christmas, I bought 4 packs of Max Crowns, almost $400, and I gave it all away. I just sold my house, and after 15 years of living on Social Security, I could afford to give back at the Christmas gift exchange. Man, I'm not really soft or anything, but I almost feel a tear coming to my eye. That's just so sweet. This year, I won't be able to do that because I'm still banned from gifting. I tried to get it taken care of, but gave up after dealing with support. Now I give up entirely. I will still play after a fashion, but no more money for ESO." This captures a theme we're going to see continuing here, both in this thread and in the community at large. The ESO community is hanging by a thread right now. We have no trust in the developers, and they're really doing nothing to help us trust them. Then we have another response from Astanoha. "They've been pretty heavy on the ban hammer in recent years." No, you think? Even for minor things like in-game names of guilds or tunes. Even one I had for 5 years, now suddenly it's a problem. Even if they did have an issue with the name, they used to just log in and say, "Hey, we're changing the name, but here's a name change token. Do not use the one you just used," and called it a day with a 3-day ban. Yeah, that is literally what used to happen. You used to either get an email or an in-game message from a game master saying, "Your name sucks, we're changing it, but you know what? You can change it back again to something else if you want." That was the gold standard for like the first probably 8 to 10 years of the game's existence. Now it's a 3-day ban and a strike. The 3-strike rule, if it even still exists, I can attest personally that it does kind of exist. It's also pretty outdated considering the length of time the game has been out. Having 3 bad days or moments in 10 years, leading to a total wipe of everything, is pretty severe. It is really not a good look. Then, man, okay, I'm not going to try to read that name, but this person with the incomprehensible name with a bunch of numbers says, "This all looks sus. It feels punitive and petty. Maybe take a closer look at who's doing the banning. And so, yeah, this is really what matters. Not whether it really is sus, not whether it really is punitive or petty. It just looks that way. The optics are so bad when there's really no space for the optics to be bad right now. Dark Strife is calling for Kevin's help. Alphatraz brings up his dad, who is also permabanned. And then Verling says, "This is very alarming. Bans without explanation are very bad. Lately, I've stopped contacting technical support when people insult me or use foul language. It's pointless." The last 3 replies, nothing happened, no violations. And again, we see the same theme. For the past 6 months, I've been wanting to buy ESO Plus, but I keep putting it off. Now I'm even more hesitant. Is it worth it? And I have no desire to spend money on the Elder Scrolls Online. The maximum I'll buy is a month of ESO Plus, put everything in my craft bag. So look, I gotta jump in with some commentary here. This may shock and alarm you all, but I have been banned from ESO before. Never permanently, always 3-day bans. Now, probably if anyone at ZOS sees this video, they'll get offended and they will permaban me. But oh well. But the point is that every single time it's happened, it has been totally deserved, and they have carefully explained why I was banned. Again, this may surprise and shock you, but I have struggled with toxicity in the past. I've also just been a bit of a clown. I've just gone in and said things in chat I shouldn't have. I've gotten political. I've used slurs. Not for a long time. The most recent ban I had was last year when I was just ripping on this guy who goes from zone to zone, trying to scam people. We both got in trouble, I think, but I was just being combative and toxic. I totally deserved it. I broke the terms of service, and they told me exactly what I did in the email saying I was getting a 72-hour ban. But speaking of banning, they have created a culture of fear at ZOS. So that anytime I come out with any even reasonably critical video, anytime I say anything negative, I always get this kind of tingle in the back of my mind, wondering, am I going to get permabanned for this? Other games, any online game, they'll ban you. On Fortnite, if you cuss somebody out in voice chat, they'll ban you, sometimes permanently. In Warframe, if you use the N-word in chat even one time, you'll get permanently banned. But all those policies make sense. More and more, what ZOS does with banning seems arbitrary and like it's based off AI hallucinations, because honestly it is. Lots of players don't know this, but ZOS has been managing ESO's chat using AI tools for the last 2 years. That means they can scan literally everything you write, even in private messages. They are constantly watching you. The squiddies in the Matrix are watching you. And the decisions to ban generally come from AI too. They are sometimes overseen by human operators, but especially with people getting laid off, maybe less and less. Maybe they're letting AI make all these decisions. And again, I'm just full of surprises and shockers in this segment, but AI is not always right. It makes mistakes like all the time. Speaking of time, it can't figure out what time is. It'll say something happened yesterday that happened 3 years ago. It'll say an event that is 3 months from now is happening in 2 years. AI is dumb. It probably always will be. But ZOS is managing ESO's community using AI, which I'm strongly suspicious could be playing a role here. But let's go on. So right before we have the final comment, we have this comment from Majiki. Support team is sus at best. Once I got a 3-day ban for being rude to some dude, I deserved it, no argue here. Yep, I've definitely been in that boat. But I reported someone for doing the same thing. The response from support was he didn't break any rules. I saved the email for them for future reference if they were ban me again, since being rude is apparently not breaking the TOS. And I did want to say something about this previous comment too. This is just so sad and messed up. The main point of community moderation in ESO is to protect you from trolls, right? There are other purposes, of course, but it's to keep the community non-toxic, cooperative, friendly, behaving like grown-ups. But people are giving up on reporting legitimate abuse because nothing ever happens. Something is seriously broken with community moderation in ESO, and my best guess is it's AI. But okay, drum roll please. Jessica Folsom finally comes in and drops the ban hammer on this whole discussion, saying the following. Hi folks, we do not allow discussion of disciplinary actions I think she means taken, on accounts here on the forums. The main reason for that is the community team is not involved in account-related matters, so we can't really speak to or help with those here. Yeah, BS. They just want to hide it. We have a process for appealing suspensions and bans that is explained here. Everybody already knows that. They've been talking about it in the thread. They're saying the appeal process doesn't work. It's important this process is followed so appeals get to the right place. It's like she didn't even read this. People are appealing and nothing is happening. But this is where things get literally wild as the untouched virgin jungle in the depths of the Amazon rainforest. With all those lost civilizations people are finding with radar now, covered in frickin' trees. That said, we did ask about these. All of these accounts were found to be directly associated with gold selling and or chargeback fraud. So the new mom, who is also a guild leader, was selling gold for real money or doing credit card chargeback fraud. So was this deputy guild leader and raid leader. So was this goated community Chad. So was this other guild leader, and also apparently this guy's dad. Dr. Seuss rhymes aside, holy crap, Batman. That is, there's no words. In a single sentence, Jessica says that everyone in this thread is a liar. And these people who supposedly had so much to lose and no reason to risk it were all gold selling or doing chargeback fraud. So for a little context, gold selling is when you sell gold in the game for actual cash. You are allowed to trade gold for items in the crown store. That's allowed in the terms of service. It's just kind of risky, but you can totally do that. You can advertise it in the chats, etc. You cannot, however, sell gold for real money. That's against the terms of service. And any long-time heavily invested ESO player should and probably does know that. And then chargeback fraud. This is when you go to your bank and say a transaction was unauthorized. So the idea is somebody bought some crowns or whatever from the store. Then they went to their bank and they said, this was actually fraud. Please reverse the charges. I mean, absolute BS. These are not professional scammers from India. These are people who've already spent thousands of dollars in the game. Why would they do chargeback fraud? They suddenly fell on hard times, but they need their crown fix. So they're literally going to do chargeback fraud to get stuff in the game. The only people who do that are like repeat scammers or new people who go from game to game and just try to get free stuff. These are long-term, very invested players. I mean, unless this person, Nina Sweetie, is just all out lying. This is all made up. None of these people really exist. They're actually all named Kumar and they're from Bangladesh. That is the implication and context here. Jessica Folsom is calling this person a liar, Nina Sweetie. She's calling this dude and his dad a liar, Alphatraz. And she's disregarding the rightful concerns brought up by the different posters in this thread. So here, let's do a thought experiment. Say you're Jessica Folsom, and this post slides across your desk. How would you handle it? I don't know about you guys, but I probably wouldn't start with a paragraph of insensitive corporate boilerplate, basically tisk-tisking people for posting this in the forums, wrapping them on the knuckles with the appeals process, and then saying, hey, retards, do the right thing, or else your appeal won't work, when that's obviously already known. I would also probably not directly accuse the affected individuals of gold selling or chargeback fraud, and then immediately close the discussion before anyone can respond. What is going on at ZOS? Man, they've taken a minor setback and turned it into suicide. They could have come back from all this. Losing half your staff does not need to be a death warrant. Setbacks are not the end of the story, but they are completely melting down. Multiple people in this thread talked about how trust in the community is important, how people are opting out of paying for the game because of that lack of trust. And then she comes in like the secret police putting a bag over your head in the middle of the night and dragging you down to some interrogation room underground, putting you in one of those James Bond chairs with, you know what happens in that chair in that movie. It has to do with a very sensitive part of the male body. That's what she's doing here. She's just whipping us in the, it's really hard to tell whether this response is really just like, things are hard, we're all stressed out, or if this kind of malicious attitude has always been there under the surface, and the stresses of the current situation are just exposing it. Like, wow. I mean, she really did just say that a new mom who hardly plays anymore has been gold selling and doing chargeback fraud. I mean, really? You don't just do that? That's crazy people stuff. That's like rolling your eyes and salivating on the streets, talking to an imaginary phone like crazy stuff. It's fine if you think that happened because AI told you so, but you don't just go out and say it. You don't just come out with this little tiny post, utterly disregarding people saying, we're losing trust in the studio. We're not giving you guys money anymore. We're opting out of the game. You don't hear that. You don't see that. And then say, if only you guys hadn't been gold selling and doing chargeback fraud. I mean, yeesh, it's basically your fault, right? I mean, my lord, this just looks absolutely terrible. All right, so now it's a little bit of discussion while we finish things up. Like I said, I've been banned before. I wanted to respond to these people in the post who are saying the 3-strike thing should probably be removed. I know from personal experience it basically has. I had 3 strikes and I got another one, but I still have my account. I mean, as of recording this, who knows if I'll still have my account after actually bringing this situation to light? Because something tells me that Zoss probably doesn't want this whole situation amplified. But at this point, I don't care. People say I'm a doomer. People say I'm farming clickbait. You know, it's really the opposite of that. This is not helping my channel, but I have this weird thing where I can't help being honest. It's called authenticity. And I know maybe you're not used to that here on the YouTubes, but that's just me. This whole time, I've just been kind of coasting off my love for ESO. But if you've been paying close attention, I've never been really that friendly to the devs. And I'm just being honest now, where I am seeing just an absolute ongoing dumpster fire. And it's not in your face. It's not like super apparent. It's like a dumpster fire happening across town where you can just smell slightly the aroma of burning garbage wafting through the air. But it's not like your own building is about to catch on fire. You probably haven't even heard about it on the news yet, but it's there. It's burning. And I'm here to tell you that it's happening. Under the surface, these little responses we're getting from the developers are painting a pretty subtle but ultimately very clear picture of catastrophic structural decay. And people say, oh, Spopes, you just hate ESO, you're a doomer. I'm like, no, bro, I'm just keeping it real. I want the game to survive. Why wouldn't I? Things have been going great for me. I was hoping this year would be a banger one, where ESO got back its popularity, views skyrocketed, everything just got hunky-dory. This is a big blow to me, probably honestly more than it is to any of you haters getting on my case. I don't want any of this. But I had someone say to me recently, video games are an escape from real life. Basically, we should just ignore the meta context of what's going into them, because escapism is where it's at. This is someone I previously respected, but I found that to be such an insane statement. I had to kind of do a double take. Video games aren't just some magical dream that erupts from nowhere. They come from real people making them. And if those real people start messing up, the game will fail. And I don't think this is the layoffs. I don't think it's anything recent. I think this structural decay has been in place, growing bit by bit, like mold on trash, for I don't know, probably 6-7 years now. Maybe since the beginning of the studio. Who knows how long? It's just, this is like the moment when you move aside the trash and you see the giant pile of mold that's been growing on your garage floor. This is when you start cleaning up all the trash in the yard and you realize that there's an infestation of freaking mice in there or something. The mice were already there. The moldy trash was already there. We're just seeing it now. That's the only difference. The layoffs didn't cause this. Like I said from the beginning, the layoffs could have made them rally and find new strength and help them overcome their problems. But adversity shows people's true colors. That's the same for organizations as it is for individuals. And Zoss was like this before this. And I have to admit, I've kind of had my head in the sand too. I love this game too much to really face the facts honestly. But I've had the opportunity to do that recently. And again, man, I still love The Elder Scrolls Online. I will to my dying day, whatever happens to the game. I will look back on all my experiences in it fondly, going back to 2015. But I'm going to revise my usual mantra here. I don't think it's that the devs don't like the game as much as we do. I think they hate it. And I think they hate us. So let us know what you think in the comments. And of course, because haters are going to unsubscribe, please do your part if you haven't and sub to the channel. If you appreciate my radical authenticity, just understand that whatever happens to this game, I'm going to bring that same perspective to bear on whatever I cover. Please also like and hype this video to give it a wider reach. And given that the situation has affected me, I'm not profiting over Doom, like the exact opposite, actually. Please do support me with a membership, a merch purchase, or a donation. So yeah, comment away, everyone. Really curious to see what you have to say. And even though it's been kind of a depressing video, we're going to finish it off with an uplifting prayer to the maker of all things, the source of all that is good and beautiful, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Lord Christ, thank you for making it possible to make this video today. Thank you for helping me discern what's going on at ZOS and share it with my community. Lord, thank you for my community. Please bless them in all ways. And please do bless my channel and the entire Elder Scrolls Online community. Help us get through these difficult times with whatever grace the devs have left us. And Lord, please do bless the developers at ZOS. They truly, truly need you. Lord Christ, I give you all glory for this video and for my channel. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Thanks for sticking with us till the end. Before you go, please like, hype, and subscribe. And we do subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'll be back soon with new content.